So I've got some pretty good news for you guys. California polls are actually looking pretty darn good for Bernard Sanders. Now, as you guys know, right, the polls seem to undersample non-voters, they oversample old people and using landlines, etc., etc. And so it always underscores Bernie's enthusiasm in terms of his voters, as well as the ground game and the grassroots campaign. And so naturally, the polls are probably underestimating Bernie, right? Kind of like in Michigan, where, there's that 15-point swing where he had the biggest, comeback in history, according to the polls. So a new poll came out. It's a change poll slash KQED poll, okay? Has Sanders 26%, Warren 23%, Biden 19%, and Buttigieg at 12%, and a bunch of randos. So obviously the three that you want to look at up here: Sanders 26, Warren 23, and Biden 19. Now, as I told you guys previously, I don't go off. I don't do one-off polls because that's not indicative of trends. Okay, there's a thing called an outlier. So if we bust out RCP, Real Clear Politics, to look at all these polls, Bernie is looking really good right now. Okay, Biden's at 21.2 average. Bernie's at 21 and Warren's at 19.6. Okay, so Bernie, what that means is Bernie is zero point 0.2 off. Okay, this is that KQED NPR poll that was just posted that had Bernie at 26. Then this CNN poll, again, has Warren in third with Bernie just trailing by 1. And then the Berkeley IGS poll had Biden only at 14, Bernie at 24, and Warren at 22. And it continues. This one doesn't look so hot for Bernie or Warren. But basically what you've got here is it's looking pretty good for Bernie in California, in the state of California, which is very important, by the way. It's very important. It looks like these KQED slash NPR polls seem to be very crucial for Bernie. But this is huge. I mean, if he can do really well in California and or win California, that will be very crucial, of course, because obviously California is an early state. It's a massive state with a lot of delegates. So this is a very, very crucial state for Bernie, and the fact that he's had, two polls, basically out of the last three polls, two of them are in Sanders' favor. This is a very good sign. And remember, like I told you earlier, anytime Bernie's down a couple points in a poll, it really means that he's either tied or he might even be up a couple of points, because as you guys know, it undersamples people who are going to be Bernie supporters, and it undersamples the ground game. Again, I remind you of the Michigan primary of 2016. That's what always ends up happening. So this is looking really good. And a lot of Biden's support is fake. It's people going based off of name recognition. And so that's another good sign. So Bernie is looking real good in California, which is a very good sign. And I'm very excited about this. So good news, Bernie Sanders and his campaign looking hot in Florida.